Hello everyone. I wanted to do a review of the Cycles journal, which I have been using since June of this year. It is a journal that you can use to track your menstrual cycles. It also has elements of working with the moon, and I had seen it on Instagram a few times and I was curious about it, but I didn't purchased it at the beginning of the year because I had a few other journals that I was already working with. In the middle of the year, the Cycles journal had a sale, so since I was curious, I decided to check it out. I really like the make of the journal. It's a hardcover journal. It has this really nice ribbons. It's a pretty hefty journal. I'll see if it has page numbers. I never thought to look at the page numbers, but it's a 319 page journal, and it comes with this nice elastic that you can use to keep it shut. I also really like the cover design. I like the color. I just really like the look of the journal. So the pre-orders for the 2022 journal are already available, and I already pre-ordered mine. So I'm going to share a little bit about the inside pages and just some insights, I guess, into how I've used it and why I enjoyed using it, and maybe it's something that you want to check out for yourself. So one of the main things I like is just the theme. Of course, it's a menstrual cycle journal, so there's a lot of themes of blood in the color and like the artwork. If you get this journal, it's probably because you want to connect with your menstrual cycle, which means connecting with your blood. So hopefully if you're interested in this journal, you won't be turned off by just some of the aesthetic. So the colors throughout the journal are red, light red, and black. And here it has just a small dedication as well as a table of contents. I use another moon journal that I love and I will continue to use, and I use it a little differently than this one. I'll show it to you right now. It's the New Moon journal by The Moon Is My Calendar. This one I've been using for 2 years. This is my second year, and I pre-ordered the one for next year. I do want to do a second video comparing and contrasting the two. I do have a video here on my channel with a review of the New Moon calendar, so I'll be sure to add a link to that, or you can look back through my videos to see that. So something that's a little different about this journal is that there's 3 different sections that you will be checking in with pretty often. There's the moon cycle overview, which I'll show you in a minute, the daily spreads, and then the cycle reflections. So this small section here gives you the page numbers for each of the months, because they're not consecutive, because for example, the month cycle overview starts in one page, and then you go into the daily spreads, then the cycle reflection. So then when you are moving to the next month, you might want to flip back here to see what page it starts in. But if you use it pretty consistently, then you won't need to refer back to this. Just I wanted to mention how there's this breakdown of the different areas where you will be spending most of your time. Something else that I really like about the journal is that it has a lot of really good information about the lunar influence on your menstrual cycle. It has information about the energetics of the menstrual cycle. It has anatomical diagrams, which I might not show just because I don't want to get my video flagged here on YouTube. There's also information about fertility awareness, tips for how to have a sustainable bleeding practice in terms of the things you use for your period. There's also a lot of different articles that they have from different contributors about rituals and self-care things that you can do for yourself, not just during your menstrual cycle, but throughout, not just during your period, but throughout your menstrual cycle. So I'm gonna flip through a few of the pages. There's just really good information on the, this is a page I didn't want to show. Really good information on the different phases of the menstrual cycle, different myths. So for me, I wanted to reconnect with my menstrual cycle after not having a period for the last 7 years because I was on birth control, and I really wanted to just return to having that connection with my body. And obviously I love journaling, so when I saw that there was a journal that could help me with that, I was really curious to explore it and look into it. The journal also has a few pages where it helps you figure out what to do in the monthly overview, the daily page, and the cycle reflection. So it's really nice that they have all of these instructions. I'm sure once you get to use it and get more comfortable with it, you can do whatever you want with the journal. But as a beginner with the journal, it does help to have the instructions. So this is the monthly overview. I'll show you a blank one so you can see it a little closer. Instructions on how to use the daily space. And I'll show you a blank one of those as well. And then the cycle reflections. So since I didn't get this journal at the beginning of the year, I didn't fill out the 2021 intentions, but I'm excited to do that for the 2022 journal. So the monthly overview, it's kind of like a tracker like this. Some people have trackers like this one in their bullet journal. This one is already laid out for you. Each 2-page spread is one moon cycle. So you'll see here at the top that it has the month, and it says that the sun is in Capricorn until the 18th of January. And then up here it gives you the moon and the signs that the moon is in throughout the moon cycle. So these are the moon phases here, and this is the date. So January 13, 14, 15, and it spreads to the other side as well. Then here you have different things that you want to track. These are their recommendations, and there's space for you to write your own things that you might want to track. At the top there's like the physical symptoms, emotional, and then habits that you want to track as well. At the top here you can add your cycle day, then your basal body temperature, whether you're bleeding, if you've had any discharge. At the bottom here there's a really nice key that helps you figure out how to fill out the bubbles. So for days when you have less of one of the things you're tracking, you could use a minus sign. If it's not happening, you could leave it blank. If it's somewhat happening, you could do like a few marks. Moderate, you could do half a bubble. If it's fully or intense, you could do a full bubble. And then if it's extreme, you can add an exclamation mark. Something that I really like is that the symptoms are also on this side. So it's easy to, once you get to like the end of the cycle, it would be really difficult to like just make sure that you're writing in the correct line. So it's really nice that it's on this side as well. So that's the monthly overview. And I really think for people who like collecting data, this is a really interesting thing to have for yourself, because you can see like the month laid out. And I haven't like analyzed the data very much, but it's just interesting to look at. And then you can see how your for example, your habits, if maybe like they really fluctuate during the moon cycle, or how your body's feeling during the moon cycle. It's just part of the self-awareness that I think this journal can help you with. So all of the monthly overviews are together. So that's one of the things I was mentioning at the beginning, how for example, if you're in if you're in January and then February is next, to do the daily pages, you have to look for the page number that was at the beginning of the book. So I'm going to flip here to an empty page. So if we were starting our to use this journal on January, I guess it would be December. Actually, they have December 28th. We would just have to look for those pages for the daily check-in. So I also really like this page here. It gives you the phase the moon is in, as well as the moon sign, and then it gives you the sign that the sun is currently in. It has a space for you to write what phase you're in. I've usually written down the phase of the menstrual cycle, but I just had an idea of also just writing out the name of the lunar phase. And then you can write the day you're in, the day number of your cycle. This is for your temperature, if you're keeping track of that. And then you could circle what kind of weather there was. And this empty space is open for you to do whatever you want with it. So then there's more space for you to check in with the same things that you were checking in the tracker, but this time you can add some notes for yourself. So for example, how your body was feeling, how your emotions were doing, and how you nourished yourself. What self-care did you do? Did you take your meds? Also a spot for you to write something about how you slept and if you had any dreams. And then some journaling journaling space for you to record a few notes. So for every full moon, for every moon phase, there's this additional journaling space. So in this page we're looking at, it happens to be the full moon. So they give you 2 prompts that you can use to journal, and I really enjoy them. And it actually helps you with the questions that they're giving you. It helps you start to figure out what each phase could potentially mean and how you could use the energy of that moon phase. If we flip a few pages later, the last quarter moon section is about what are you leaving behind this lunar cycle and where can you make more space for reflection and integration. So that's the daily check-in pages. So there's one for each day of the cycle. Then there's these additional information that actually I had not seen this one, so let me put a bookmark for myself. About this one's about moon cycle nutrition. So I wanted to show you the cycle reflection page, which is actually a page that I haven't I've just started to use. I was kind of easing into the journal. So I started with keeping track of the monthly overview and then doing the daily check-in and the journaling. And now I feel like I have enough experience and information to start the cycle reflection. So it will be for the entire past moon cycle, and you can write in the date of your menstrual cycle here. You can just check in with yourself about whether you performed these suggested self-care routines, which include a breast or chest self-exam, vaginal self-check, and then a date night with yourself. And there's space for you to also add your own self-care things that you did or want to do. There's also a place here for you to make notes about different patterns that you noticed. There's a space for you to write when you bleed and for how many days. Then there's this section for caution days and bliss days. I'm not entirely sure what those are yet, but since I'll be using this page a little more, I will hopefully figure it out. Then you can add notes about changes that you notice or other things that maybe you want to keep track of, as well as symptoms, and then any rituals that you enjoyed. Then there's these small art and also quotes. Let's see. So this is the January part. I didn't have it back then, but I really, all of these additional information that they provide is really useful, and I love the look of the journal as well. So I do recommend that if you want to connect more with your body and with your using the menstrual cycle as a way to study yourself throughout the month. I just wanted to flip through a few examples of the additional information and articles that they have. Let's see. They have this one. They have ritual suggestions. I know there's one about having a cacao ceremony. So it's just really, it has a lot of information, and the voice of the womb, and it has really beautiful art as well. And I just really like the whole theme of it. This like connecting with the color red, connecting with our bodies, and seeing how our bodies are transitioning with the moon phases. If you already do some moon work and you want to add another layer to your practice, I think the Cycles Journal can be a great tool for that. And I know I'm definitely looking forward to finishing this one and then to working with the 2022 version. Thank you so much for watching. I will be doing a comparison with the New Moon Journal, and also maybe I will do another video about how I work with the New Moon Journal from The Moon Is My Calendar.